And remember, fade out the intro within 10 seconds because they're going to start talking over it.
I don't see live feed.
Intro final.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'm going.
Don't you have
Mics
to
are
go
good?
live?
Damn, never mind.
I would mute it, start it, do the intro for 10 seconds, unmute it, and then kick it to them and fade it out.
So, muting the mics.
Yep.
Hitting this. Oops. Hitting this.
Start the intro.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rock and Turk Sports Show. My name is Rocco Foggio. I'm one of the hosts of the show. And as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Justin Turk and Dominic the Ref Reggio. For our new listeners, we're a couple of former athletes turned coaches that will bring you the week's top national and local sports stories and debate on them using our unique sports perspectives and experiences. But before we get started today, I just want to let you know our show is sponsored by and brought to you by Blaze Contracting.
Installations, land balance and grading, storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and water main installations throughout Michigan, Ohio, and Nevada. Blaze has successfully completed many high-profile projects and is a preferred vendor for many established major corporations and developers doing business in Detroit and across America. Currently, Blaze has several major projects going on in Metro Detroit, including the new Little Caesars headquarters building, the Detroit Brush Park development, the Flexing Gate Auto Supply Plant, and the new Little Caesars Red Wings Arena. Hey, sports fans, if you're out there listening, if you are involved in the development and construction process of upgrading or improving exterior property or infrastructure, you need to give Blaze a call. They can provide valuable assistance from the beginning stages all the way through the budgeting, design, and of course, the construction process phases of your project. You will experience the administrative needs provided by Blaze that will ensure that your project will be completed on time and within budget. Allow Blaze to light the fire for you that paves your road to success. Give them a call today. Call 313-361-1000 or visit their website at www.blazecontracting.com.
Turk Dom, tell me something good. What's happening?
Not much, man. How is everybody?
What's up? What's up? This is show 5. You know what? This is the first Thursday. It does not rain
True.
since we started the show. So the rain is over and the Tigers won all in the same day. It's got to be a good omen, right?
You know why it's not raining?
Why?
Because you were supposed to wear your romper.
Ugh. The romper, you know.
Male romper.
I
You
think
seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, stop.
there's only one thing that is trending more than LaVar Ball right now. It is the male romper. So we got to shout out to male rompers out there. We're going to have to get somebody on the show to talk about it, right?
Did we shout out male rompers?
Shout out to male rompers.
Oh,
We're equal opportunity. Shout out to male rompers.
Jay, leave that door open. I think I'm leaving.
Well, I saw that the other night. I told him I was going through just sports stories and look for things, and I saw it come up, and I said, you know what? I had to go into it. This has got to be a joke. And then I was like, no way. And then he called me today and was like, bro, did you see that? And I'm like, that's real? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. So you might have to get one. Might have to try it out. Run around.
Good luck, man.
So just to start off, for any of you guys that are new listeners, my name is Rocco Foggio. I'm the president and owner of Rock Solid Sports Performance. We're an athletic training and national high school recruiting company, and I'm also partners with the company, sports technology company Replay Locker, and we deal with sideline instant replay systems for high school sports, and soon for college and professional once the rules are passed. So other than that, I'm just a former college professional football player turned high school coach, and I am a huge sports fan and junkie, but I am not a fanboy. I have been dubbed the #1 enemy of the fanboy. So with Turk, tell me what's going on.
Hey, like I said before, I'm out here feeling good. Tigers won 2 in a row. Eventually we're going to get to some Tiger talk, but, you know, it's not serious enough in the season. Hey, like you said, Justin Turk, Blaze Contracting Project Manager by day, sports aficionado by night, co-host of the Rocky Turk Sports Show, Show 5. We're doing it big. We're in our 2nd month. Everybody celebrate. Really excited about being here. And the NBA draft lottery just happened the other day. We're going to talk about it. NFL draft already happened. We got anything sports, anything you want. Hopefully you guys are in tune, looking for a really good show. Call in with your stuff. Dom, what you think?
Well, I'm Dominic, the referee, Gio. I'm a former college athlete from the great Western Michigan University.
The MAC.
Your
The mighty MAC.
Mid-American Conference champions,
The
baby.
MAC is 3-0 versus Purdue. Did you know that, Dom?
I did know that.
But the
can't-
Big
where
Ten
did
is
I?
probably 200
I don't know. I
No,
didn't hear
no,
you say
that's where the stats stop. 3-0.
Look, stats don't lie. Bowling Green, the MAC is 3-0 versus Purdue.
The mighty Mac, baby.
Yes.
So
Let's go.
And I'm also the owner of Mess Bucket Comics, self-published, independent, Detroit, Michigan-based comic book company. More information, check out messbucketcomics.com. Okay.
Wait, real quick. Don't you got something going on this weekend?
That's right, yeah. Motor City Comic-Con this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Suburban Showplace in Novi, Michigan. This is a huge show, the biggest one in Michigan. Lots and lots of fun. Pretty ladies. You can nerd out. This is year 4, I think, for my company.
Let me ask you something about
Yeah.
that though, because I'm thinking about bringing my son's like 3.
Yeah.
I'm a big sci-fi. I'm like
Oh.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Midnight. Oh yeah, I'm there. I got to work tomorrow. Who
Okay.
cares? I'm there, right?
Yeah.
So now 2 things: is my kid too young that he's gonna be freaked out by something he sees? Number 1,
Okay. Like, what do you mean, freaked out by what?
I don't know, some like really horrifying costume. He's gonna be like, "Oh, Daddy, no!"
I mean, I don't know. I don't think
Now,
so.
mind you, Thomas the Train freaks him out when it's like up close. So maybe that's not a good question. Anything freaks
How was
him
he
out.
on Halloween? Was he all right?
He was all right. He was all
Yeah,
right.
that'd be
So,
fine.
yeah.
That pick that you sent from the Tigers game, he was that big.
Oh.
He was giving the business for a
He
reason.
did. He did. You know, I'm thinking about coming, but so number 2. So people who don't know, I know we got a lot of comic. I know this is a sports show, but sports and comics go hand in hand. To me, all right. I think there are 2. I think for men, there are 2 things that men can be extremely passionate
It
about.
taps into our childhood.
It does.
Right.
It does.
Okay.
So I grew up. I'm a big Wolverine. Like I said, if I could be any superhero, I'd be Iron Man because it's realistic, right?
Well, see, that's the thing, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but the people, when I ask people, what superhero would you be? They say Batman, they're Iron Man. They're
Because
men, they don't
they're
have
real.
powers.
That's why,
They
man.
don't have powers.
We're being real though, right? Like Batman is just a dude with money who got a bunch of concoctions and was like, "Hey, this is great. I can put a suit on and I can do work to all the bad guys."
My name's Superman. I'm indestructible and I'm
That's,
immortal.
it's impossible though. Let's be
Like
realistic.
Wolverine gets no hangovers. The healing factor. I love that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did you see Logan? That was like a miserable existence at the end. And we go in back to sport. Okay.
Is this Motown Mojo? Anyway, so wait, what was your second question? You said
My second question. All right, how much does it cost?
to get in.
Yeah.
They have 1-day deals, weekend deals. It's all on MotorCityComicCon.com. I've never looked at it that way because I've always gone and I'm selling my stuff.
Oh
there.
yeah.
But
So
it's relatively cheap.
I'm going in with Dom as the help.
Yeah. I'll smuggle you in there.
Yeah, we'll put JT in one of those comic book boxes. We're in there.
It's all on
I'll check it out.
MotorCityComicCon.com.
Sounds
Yeah.
interesting. Sounds good.
Before Dom gets us started on the topics, just want to let you guys know, please give us a call in to talk about the topics. We want to hear your opinions, your thoughts. The phone number is 248-721-8570. And if you don't get through on the phone line, get a hold of us at our Twitter handle at Rock, R-O-C-K, the letter N, Turk Sports with a Z. And we'll be checking that throughout the show to answer any questions if you can't get through on the phone line. So turn it back to you, Dom. What are we talking about today?
All right, comic book nerds, we're going to start off with the NBA playoffs. So we're going to send that over to Rocco. You starting this one?
No, I think Turk's got
Turk.
this because he wants to tell me how wrong I was.
Here we go.
This is where we need to get that flux capacitor out and rewind 1 week. Because I think it was last week I got on here because originally I said Houston Rockets were going to beat the Warriors. I mean, they were going to get to the finals and they were going to lose to the Warriors, Western Conference. You had the Houston Rockets winning. But before Game 6, I got on here and said the Houston Rockets died 2 nights ago. All right, that was Game 5 when 39-year-old Ginobili came through the air. He jumped like 40 feet. No, matter of fact, it was 39. He jumped 39 feet and swatted James Harden's existence out of the playoffs. Right. So Game 6, these guys come out and blow the doors off of Houston.
With Kawhi Leonard being out, that's what shocked me.
And then you hear the story. Harden's at the club afterwards, and then some came out again about Harden. It's just like I had so much hope in Houston actually going somewhere and making a respectable finals. Because like I said, I didn't think Houston had a chance, or I didn't think San Antonio had a chance at all, or I didn't think Houston's 7-man rotation. So my hope died in the Western Conference Finals when Nene got hurt.
Yeah.
It was over. That 7-man rotation was the end of any chance anybody was going to beat Golden State or even make it respectable to me. I never thought San Antonio had a chance. So 2 games later, you know, Golden State's looking really good. Shout out to Zaza. Zaza Pachilla, the killer. Zaza Pachilla, the
Hey,
killer.
did you see that one of the fans filed a lawsuit on behalf of the Spurs fans, a real lawsuit, I guess for, you know, giving great bodily harm, some type of, about.
This is why we get on the show, and when, that's the fanboy stuff that Rocco talks about, that I'd be like, whatever. But that, like, look, you had Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen was the original assassin. Like I don't know how Popovich gets on the mic and talks about anybody. When Bruce Bowen would go out here and give work to whoever was the hot guy that night. We Detroit Pistons, we know about Rip Hamilton getting the dirty ankle sprain.
Bruce Bowen did that same thing to Kobe in the playoffs.
He's done it multiple times. He's a great defender, but don't think he ain't sliding up under your legs when you get that jump shot. So, you know, it's over in the West. You know, I think Golden State's gonna, like I said, I didn't think they win. I didn't think they lose more than 1 game.
Yeah, you're right.
They might lose 0 now, and they're on a collision course to get Cleveland.
I'll say.
Hey, Rocco, before
yes,
you
sir.
respond, tell everyone that where they can watch this now.
Oh, yes, we are, today is our first show. We are streaming live on Facebook, so you can go to the Rock and Turk show and watch us live.
We're live on Facebook, people. This is a historical moment.
Yeah, you can see an actual beatdown on live TV, but nobody gets
all those times you're like, man, that guy sounds smart. He sounds good. Here I am. This is me. Yeah.
So, Rocco, your rebuttal.
My rebuttal is, you know, a person that's what I was taught, a good man can admit when he was wrong. So yes, I did have the finals as the Cavaliers and the Houston Rockets. As we talked last week, I thought that even though that they lost, that they could come back with Kawhi Leonard. We at the time before the show was over, we didn't know that Kawhi was going to be out. So we left the show. I said, "Oh, Kawhi's out. Bet they got this one. They're going to take it to a game 7
in the bag."
And not only. It's not okay to lose, but the way they lost, and then your superstar doesn't show up, and then like Turk said, he's out at the club, and then the next, I think another thing, not to make an excuse, but a story came out earlier that day, I didn't see it till the next day, that Moses Malone Jr.'s son
got a beat down
at a strip club because he was mad because he had, you know, criticized Harden on social media about his camps being, you know, $250, $280 or whatever it was, and that, you know, the inner city kids can't get to it, and he took great offense to that, was mad and fired back. So, and that's coming out. There may be some ramifications.
So apparently James Harden is all caught up in his feelings, though, right? Because I mean he's beating down dudes who I mean Moses Malone Jr. That's.
But he just when you're distracted like that and you're a superstar and you don't show up on the biggest stage because if you don't respect.
Real quick though.
Yeah.
Okay, we all know who Moses Malone was. You know, one of the greatest. So, could you point out Moses Malone Jr. in the lineup?
Probably not.
I don't know what he look. Does he look like Moses Malone? 30 years younger? I don't know what is.
Here's the worst part. Most of the time when you have a story that there's some people involved, especially if it's someone of a famous athlete or something, usually get that picture. Yeah. I don't even think they can find the picture. All the pictures up were just
they were scrolling through it. Everything was Moses Malone Sr. Like we need this guy 30 years younger. Where's that picture at? We don't have anything of Moses. Check his Facebook, IG. They couldn't find anything.
So I'll also give credit where credit's due. Turk did say he had Golden State, you know, maybe not losing the game, and I said, okay, well, whatever. This matchup is not a good matchup for. I was right in the beginning. It wasn't a great matchup until Kawhi got hurt, but now they have. LaMarcus Aldridge is not an alpha male. He's a Batman.
No.
They don't.
I don't think he's a. You mean he's a Robin?
I mean, I'm sorry. He's a
I don't
Robin.
even think he's a Robin, man. I think he's
Was it Aquaman or something?
I think he's like what's after Robin? Like hold on.
Alfred?
Oh, he's not Alfred. He's not Alfred. I think he's the third wheel on a championship team.
Batgirl.
Batgirl.
There you go.
LA is Batgirl. Shout out to LA, aka Batgirl.
And Ginobili shot his wad the other night in Houston. So you know,
Thankfully, we're on the internet. I don't think you can say shot his wad.
Well, that's not.
Can you say
See,
that?
get your mind out the gutter. You know.
Shot his wad.
I mean, they're trying to say a bad thing. That sounds pretty good.
I've been hearing that since I was a kid,
Lord.
today, man. Shot his wad. You
Lord, put the kids to bed. We shooting wads out here.
But I think that we're going back home. I don't even know. I think they're done. I think the way that they came out and played game 2. So, I mean, I guess the only good thing of my in my back pocket's got the Cavs. They showed up, and I think that is going to be. I think that's going to be a sweep as well. I don't really see anyone else coming up. So, but once again, like I said, and you also from the very beginning, these NBA playoffs, and the way that the league is structured, everything's top heavy. And you can already, what did they say before this? We had Andre was the caller. He was like, oh, this is the greatest season ever, and I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone said the Cavs and Warriors before the start of the season. The good thing about the NFL is that, yeah, you can say the Patriots, of course, because they're a good coach team, but you never know. Like this year, you got the Patriots, you got the Steelers, you have, some teams that drafted well that may sneak in. You never know who. No one had Atlanta going to the Super Bowl before the season. But when you're in the NBA, you can tell what's going on before the season starts. And so, granted, we might get a good finals, but for the most part, this has been, and we're sports junkies fans. It's been absolutely boring.
It's been horrific. I mean, yesterday's game. I didn't even watch any of it. The Celtics Boston.
I watched the first quarter.
The reason, because Celtics had to play so hard in Game 7, which was on Sunday. They get a 2-day turnaround. They're at home, but they getting the rested Cavs. And the reason I had hope that Washington was gonna make it was because I don't see any good matchup on the court for Boston. Like there's I can see John Wall and Bradley Beal getting hot and outscoring LeBron and Kyrie for a game. Kevin Love, he's out to space one night. Okay, they win a game. I don't see any scenario where Isaiah Thomas, IT, and anybody, they do it enough to combat with Cleveland.
Well, here's what I'm saying, and I know people get upset, and this is for the fanboys or people that haven't played sports. It's a reason why it's professional in college, why not everyone goes on and plays. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is because it does come to guys who win the genetic lottery that beyond just having some skill. Size matters in sports, period. And I commend him being 5'9" and making it into the land of giants. But at a certain point last night, and we've seen the meme picture and all that, but there's no one. Okay, even if he's guarding Kyrie, he's still got a 4 or 5 inch advantage. So the thing is, he's their star.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk's not going to go off again. They're not going to let him go off.
He's nowhere near a star.
And so tell me, Avery Bradley's streaky. Mm-hmm. Marcus Smart, he's mental. You never know who's going to show up. They don't have any Horford. I think
Horford's consistent. But I'll give him that, but he's not explosive.
But he couldn't battle Tristan Thompson last night.
He's not explosive. He's going to give you 16, 18
and
points,
then their
10
benches,
boards. But
Jaylen Brown. I mean, it's just not. Maybe.
No, I was surprised they scored 100. Still, I didn't think they'd get 100 some points. Once you get
on cruise control and you don't care, once you know the game's in hand.
But real quick, let me give a shout out to my cats that's under 6 feet tall. I'm under 6 feet, so this is everybody listen. IT, if you out there listen.
But wait, but you was a banger though, right?
Yeah, but listen. The rule is, man, if LeBron is coming down the lane, bro, get out the way. Do not jump into that meme. That will be burned into our brains for a while. He didn't even make the dunk, but it looked so bad. You look like
the two worst things about last night I remember is that play, and I'm not a showboater in that way, but what he did to Kelly Olynyk, turn his back to him, dribbling between, and that.
The crazy thing is in the picture, it's 2 all NBA players in that picture. It's supposed to be 2 of our best 15, and everybody in the world see that picture and they see 1. They don't see 2.
All right, we want to get caught up too much on that. Let's move on, and I know you want to talk about this now. I will have a disclaimer right here. I used to be a basketball junkie, and I used to could tell you everything since the one and done phenomenon's happened. And I don't follow college as much anymore because there's a different team every year. When the NBA draft comes up, I'm gonna tell you right now, I made my list. I got 7 guys that I know, and that's about it. So you can go ahead and start us off about the draft.
All right, so NBA draft lottery. I was sitting there in front of my TV, and I held out hope my Pistons. We had like a 0.9%, some ridiculous amount of chance that we would get the one spot. 2% chance we get in the top 3. And what happened? We got none of that. We got Celtics number 1, LA number 2. Philly number 3, which, honestly, those are 3 big markets. So I'm actually excited because I think this draft is loaded with talent. I think that, and we'll get into that Mr. Ball later, but people need to stop doubting that man because what he said so far, it's looking real good.
What you talking about, Lonzo or?
LaVar. I'm talking about LaVar. LaVar, this is setting up really nice for that Ball family. But number 1, I think, tune in because I think later on in the season, before the draft, we're going to have to do a top 15 player before the NBA draft. Rank the top 15 players in this draft because I think this draft is one of those drafts that goes back to, I'm trying to think in comparison as far as the amount of talent. I think maybe.
But nobody knows.
But I don't
I mean,
think that, I
you
understand
can't
that.
even be a fair weather fan and peek in and be like, oh yeah, I saw him in college because, you know what, like I said.
Yeah, but people knew LeBron.
Yeah, but that was still,
You didn't even
2003,
do
that was starting to become the slide. Well, now it's like, look what you got right here. 1, 2, I mean, everybody's, your top 7 picks right now, or, I'm sorry, your top 8 out of your top, 7 out of your top 8 are all freshmen, one and done.
I think honestly, I think if you're extremely good, you should probably do 1 year. And the way the system is set up right now, you should be one and done.
Yeah.
If you draft in a senior
Go get
in
your
college,
money.
if you draft in a senior in college, then he's a bench player. He's probably not a superstar. He's probably not. His ceiling has already been reached.
Or
you know what
does
you
he
get.
want to stay there and get better?
Why? Why would you do
I'm
that?
not, you don't
It's
know.
locked in money. Why would you
Yeah,
not?
I'm
The
not
NBA's
arguing.
got a D League. Go
Yeah.
get better and get paid.
Yeah.
Like if you're good enough to go in the first round, you go.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect example: DJ Wilson and Mortiz Wagner, Mortiz, whatever. First thing, last name Wagner. Those guys are, if they're first round picks, I think they should go. If they're not, they should come back. So the NBA setup right now, it's a developmental league with a couple stars up top. But you draft in the first round for that star. That's how you see a lot of young guys getting drafted. I understand it. Boston, thankfully, because they don't have a chance tonight. Chance tomorrow. But thankfully, they got the number 1 pick. And there's a player out there out of Washington. The kid out of Washington, the point guard.
But I think their draft, everybody was, people in Boston, I don't know how excited they're going to be about them getting a top pick because if you're going after a guy like that, who he's got to be a point guard. He can't be a 2.
It is. It's Markel Fultz. That's his name.
Right.
He's out of Washington.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is he's got to be a point guard.
He's a 6'4" point guard. He's phenomenal.
So what are you going to move him to 2? I don't think he played a 2.
No, I think Isaiah played the 2.
A 5'9" 2?
That doesn't matter, man. They can cross guard. We can get
Well, I
out
understand
later.
that, but I'm just saying that is
NBA draft, the Pistons fell, didn't fall where
Number
we wanted.
12.
Number 12. We'll see. I think maybe trade up. We need a point guard really bad. There's 3 very good point guards, possibly 4 in this draft. I think we need to figure out how to get up there. Dennis Smith is my guy. We'll get into details. We'll break down film later in the show. Tune in to Rocket Sports Sports Show.
Well,
NBA draft prospect rankings.
Well, let me tell you what my man is speeding up right now because we're getting. He is excited. He's called me today twice about this. I hate reality shows, but now this one, like I said last week, I wish I could call E and say, hey, let's do this show. It is time for the latest episode of Keeping Up with the Balls. He did not let us down. I figured last week was a little heat, whatever. He did not let us down once again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
LaVar never fails.
So
he never fails.
Go ahead if you want to start off. I got three points this week, but go ahead and tell me what got you going.
All right. So Mr. Ball. So I got number 1. All right. So I watched the draft and Lonzo wasn't there. All right. And I thought that was a red flag. He said Lonzo declined the invite. I said, okay, this is strategic, whatever, something like that. But when the draft's over, obviously everybody knows by now, Lakers got the number 2 pick. Okay. So number 2 pick, you're thinking, man, this lines up perfectly for Lonzo to go to LA. I know you talked about the reality show. So Lonzo, LaVar gets on the shows and they ask him about if you revisit the Nike Adidas deal. It's even funny to talk about. They asked him if you revisit the deal. His response was, if they want to talk about money now, it's $3 billion. He said $3 billion. Billion.
Well, let's take back. You said it, but I'll give you the correct what he said. If Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour want back in, right? Want back in, that means that I got like he put the power in his hand, and then to say that means you just don't want it, bro. Because hey. As you hear Lon say, hey, boo-boo, go get your money. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So, hey, real quick, I know everyone likes to talk about this topic, so if anybody's got anything they want to say about Mr. Ball, we got a few minutes. We got about 3 minutes on this topic. So please give us a call, 248-721-8570 is the number. Or if you can't get through, hit us up on Twitter, @Turk Sports with a Z.
The one thing you guys were talking about earlier, saying the NBA playoffs sucks, and I agree. It's just you know what's going to happen. But I think that when you finally get to the finals, this is a trilogy. One team won 1 year, the other team won the other year, and it's going to be the big. You're going to figure out who's the superior team in the third year. The same 2 teams for 3 years, I think that's kind of cool. And on the other side of the coin, the NHL, you had Washington versus Pittsburgh, Ovechkin versus Crosby in the second round. So now the rest of the playoffs is kind of boring for me.
Oh, because all the star powers.
Yeah. So I mean, you can look at it as a negative, but you're going to get that the finals are going to be unreal. I think.
There's not the negative about what the finals are. You know what? It will be great.
It's about the quality, the
Oh, yes.
overall. You would think that the I could see a bad regular season, but to have such a great regular season, like we were told, and to have such a dominant
I mean, think about
two teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That kind of dilutes the great regular
Pistons
season.
the bad boys run, right? They went
Yeah.
to Boston.
Right.
6 games, and then they went
Chicago.
then they played Chicago in the conference.
Yeah.
Sometimes
The Lakers
sometimes the conference finals were on both sides. Sometimes were better than what the finals ended up being. So it's just about.
Magic Johnson and the Lakers had
Yeah,
nobody.
in
They'd be
a couple of
Portland.
years, I bet you won't even, when you can't even name who in 2 years you probably won't even know who Cleveland played in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs
Yeah.
this year.
Right.
Nobody's gonna remember,
Right.
Because it was no good.
Okay, so getting off topic again, but keep it up. I like that. You need those to throw those zingers because sometimes we miss things that maybe somebody else was thinking that didn't enter our minds. So,
Right.
The other thing is he said that his son is only going to work out for the Lakers and no one else. So in my mind, great, keep doing it. But just the part of an a-hole that's in me is saying, you know what? I hope Boston drafts him, or I hope who's got the 3rd pick. I hope that Philadelphia gets him. I just want it because I want to see the monkey wrench in that because if you can say a lot of things, but when you start trying to dictate your career, and I know you brought up the Eli Manning thing, and that was his dad getting involved. Hello, we got a caller. Who's this?
Hold on, there he is.
Welcome to the Rock and Turk Sports Show. Who's calling?
Hey.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome to the show. What you got?
What's going on, Jay? I think that.
If he what? You there? No, I think it's Lonzo. It's all online. This is the thing, Jay. I think this is the thing, and we got it was very interesting back and forth that LaVar said the other day. He talked about this in detail. He said, this is what I do. I do the talk, and I think people need to be reminded that this dude's been like this the whole way. He said he's not in the locker room at UCLA. If his son, he gives advice to his son on the side if he can either leave it or take it. But he said his son's always in the gym. He said
You mean Rocket or Turk it?
he said after the you Turk and Alonzo?
Well, here's what I say. When you brought up and I told this to Turk before, when you brought up the Eli Manning situation, it was done in a way it's in the same realm, but he did it in a different way. He was looking out for his son's career, and he knew it was a personal thing. He knew that he felt that Bobby Beathard didn't know how to manage a team, and his son being a quarterback, he didn't want certain things, which and yes, is in the same way. But now it's the above and beyond of everything he's doing, and every week it gets crazier. Like the next thing we were going to talk about was Christine Leahy yesterday. He was entirely disrespectful and rude to her, and it's now he's getting past the line of.
Yeah, I would say how he treated her on the show yesterday was a bit. But I'd say this though, it ain't really on LaVar because LaVar is a nut. That's on the host. Like at some point you got to be like, hey, you're gonna be on my show. You got to respect my co-host.
But like Jason said, is it going to be if we don't know if he's going to flop or not? But the way the world is on us, so he has he has to be successful, or at least not stink.
Lonzo
because
I think Lonzo gonna be fine. Who?
Oh, Maravich. Yeah, he's Yeah.
Yeah, but I think being in UCLA, being in that environment, growing up in LA on the West Coast, thriving already, he put the team on his back. I think at the end of the day, like Yeah, but
But that was a game against a same caliber type player.
But he played against 5 lottery picks. I understand that one player. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is a phenomenal defensive player. Which Lonzo was not.
Him and Monk are probably the best players on that team.
Yeah, I think that's a tough matchup. He had a bad game, but against the number 1 pick in the draft, I think what did he have, like 32 against Markel Fultz? He had 30 earlier in the season.
He
lit him up.
Yeah.
So you can play it both double advocate. You can play it both ways. I mean, I think Lonzo's gonna be a good player. I think he's got a lot of Jason Kidd ability. I think he's gonna make a team. I think he's a plus 10 rookie player, which means I think a team's gonna win 10 more games with him. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Jim.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Keep listening and
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Well, what we got next, man?
All right, we've got NCAA football's new early signing period. Turk, what do you got?
Am I doing this one, Rocco? You want it?
You got it.
All right. So, new early signing period. So, the NCAA new early signing period just got announced last week. We didn't get to this topic. Basically, it comes down to the NCAA now allows for football recruits going in their senior year to sign in December of their senior year. Now, right now, it's set up to where you sign the first Tuesday of February.
What is that?
First Wednesday of February. So we're talking about a two month difference, and people's like, that's not a big deal. It's 2 months. Well, what you have to understand in recruiting, that after your season is over in high school, between that point and the bowl games is a huge recruiting ground for colleges. It's a lot. There are a lot of kids that flip during this time. So now what's going to happen is that kids are going to have a more pressure on them to sign early, and if they don't sign early, coaches are going to get nervous to say, if you're committed to us, then sign. All right, that's the one thing that I think is bad for the college game. Now, flip it. I thought Nick Saban brought up something very interesting about how it changes the high school game, and I never thought about this. What he talked about was that now that there's an early signing period in December, high school, he said what's happening in bowl games is going to start happening in high school, where kids are going to decline to play so they don't get hurt right before they sign. I said, I mean, if a coach of a college team, and I'm just thinking outside, if I'm a college coach.
What are you saying? The season's over with. You talking about a junior?
No. I mean, the season. I mean, you're talking about November, and honestly, in the South, they're playing in December.
Well, we're done in October. Playoffs start.
Yeah, playoffs start. So I'm saying if this is what Nick Saban thinks. He thinks that some kids may decide not to play games late in the year so they don't get hurt so close to their signing.
I mean,
is that a stretch?
Yeah, for him, I mean, I think. Well, granted, now again, down south is different. We're done by Thanksgiving. Texas and Florida,
they're in December.
They go into December.
Yeah, they're a couple weeks in December.
So they're going to decline playing a playoff game, you think?
Like he's saying, like in the bowl games when guys say,
this is what Nick Saban said. I never thought about this.
Is that what Nick Saban's saying?
Yeah, this is what Nick Saban's saying.
Decline playing like state finals?
Yeah, he's like, what for what?
I think that's a stretch. Nick says a lot of smart things. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe now it happens because it's one of those things. If a tree falls in the forest, nobody's there to make a sound. Now that he said it, are now guys going to be thinking about that? So I agree. I think that there's some good and bad. I believe it's a like you said, it's from December 20th to the 22nd. They have to sign. But where it changes is, so when you're done in the playoffs, or what happens is first week of recruiting usually starts in December, right? And it goes December and January, and then to about the third week of January, then there's a dead period before the signing week. Well, now they are moving the official visits from December back to April of their junior year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's going to have an impact a lot. I think it's going to help the Big Ten and schools that are in the North or in the Midwest, because when guys come visit from Florida or down south to Big Ten schools, when they come in December and they're like, oh, bro, I'm not doing this, man. But now they're coming right in spring, almost being in summer. I think it's going to help out that way. But also, it's going to, now here's the good one I think it does. The early signing period will provide clarity for both kids and schools. Because here's what's happening. If December 19th you don't have a letter of intent in your mailbox, then no matter what's been going up to that point, you know that you're on the back burner with them. And then also, if as a college, if you send that letter and they get on the 19th and you don't get anything back the 20th through the 22nd, then you know that kid's not, we need to start, he might need to go on the back burner.
You make a good point. I think, and I think Michigan does this. A lot of schools do this, where they'll say, hey, if we don't get this guy, then you're our guy, or something like that. You're our plan B. And some guys are okay with that. But if you think you're a plan A guy, and you're not getting that letter December 19th, season's over. There's no more highlight tape. There's no more film to put together. If you're not getting a scholarship, you're saying, hey, coach.
Because what are the chances, if you don't get it on by the 20th, what's the chance of you getting it on
Right.
February 2nd?
It kind of is already happening in a different kind of way. Like, if you're a multi-sport athlete like I was, then, if you got a scholarship in one sport, they would be like, all right, you can't, if you got a football scholarship, then they'd be like, well, we don't really want you to play hockey or lacrosse later on in the year. And I'm like, where you can stick it, because I'm going to keep playing. But they tell you, don't play, or otherwise, we're not giving you the money.
And for that, for like basketball and hockey, I've heard that a lot, because those are the highest chance to get hurt outside of football.
Right,
So
or even track.
Well, here,
let's
go back to Nick Saban real quick.
Yeah.
I want to read his quote. So this was Nick Saban's quote in response to the early signing period. Saban says the new rule could tempt high school players to skip part of their season to sign early with the school. Quote unquote, that means a high school coach is going to be in the same position we are now with Fournette and McCaffrey. They don't play in their bowl games. What's to say some high school kid says, we're out of the playoffs, I'm not going to play anymore this year. I'm going to Alabama. To me, it's bad to the high heaven for everybody. Whose self-interest it's serving, I don't know. To me, all this grows out of paranoia in recruiting, to think that somebody's doing something that somebody else is not doing. They make this rule that has all these unintended consequences for the game. I don't get it. So he wasn't talking about the playoffs. He's saying if the team sucks, say that they're 2-4,
and the guy just stops playing.
and the guy's like, man, Alabama is coming in 6 weeks. I'm done.
But that's easily remedied. On that point right there, if you do that, that shows me your character. As a coach, I don't want that kid, because what happens when you're in college and we either don't go to a big bowl game or we don't go at all? Are you going to be looking to transfer?
Can you sign the kid earlier?
But see, I think it's easy to say that, but because when kids in high school see these dudes sitting out of bowl games,
but here's two
for the same reason.
Here's two reasons why, and this is Saban being selfish, in my opinion. If now when you read that to me, two things pop in my mind. One, he's worried about either the guys he flips or the guys they go after. Let's say he's fighting with an LSU guy like who's the guy? He plays for the Giants. Landon Collins. Landon Collins was originally going to decide, he was leaning towards LSU, and at the last minute he changed his mind. If this would have been in effect, he probably would have signed. He's with LSU. They lose on.
And we may be overdoing this because basketball has an early signing period, don't they? They have an early signing period.
But this is different because they're only signing. You're signing 4 guys.
Yeah, this is 20. You can sign 25, 30 dudes.
And who makes all the money? The more pro guys, the higher guys, the more players you get, the what it's going to be. The second thing is, so I said one, it's him losing out. But secondly, these guys that set out these bowl games, I guarantee you this. If you're playing in the Final Four, or you're playing in the Rose Bowl, maybe the Sugar Bowl, something like the Cotton Bowl, maybe it's a bigger game, and it can also help your draft. I mean, you got to think about it. Christian McCaffrey. That game was going to help his stock.
But you say that so easily, but if a high school kid says, Alabama said I'm signing, this game is not going to help my stock. He looks you dead in the face, and he's going to Stanford, and he says, well, Christian McCaffrey did it. What are you going to say to him?
I'm like, you're not Christian McCaffrey, and if you want to do this, as a coach, I'm going to tell him, if you do this is showing your character.
But Coach Rocco, you told me that I was the next Christian McCaffrey.
I understand that, but
on the field, that's what you told me. I was nice like Christian McCaffrey.
Those were lies.
I don't know. I think that everybody can point to the negatives. Like I said, here's the only negatives that I really see that are the pitfalls that I wrote down. One, academics progress, that's not enough. The kids they go to Stanford, or guys that go to, or for example, when I went to Purdue, I had a okay GPA.
0-3 versus BJ. Purdue?
There we go.
Is there another Purdue?
I'll let you have it. That makes you happy. I took my ACT. I got a pretty good score, but it wasn't good enough for Purdue, so I had to take it again. And I had to take it again, and by doing that.
Did you tell them C's get degrees?
and these get diplomas. Right? But so what the guys that are having trouble that qualify eventually, schools may say with this early signing period, they may say, hey, you know what? This guy's got to retake the ACT in January, February. This guy right here, we're going to throw this offer out to him early, and he is already academically going to qualify.
Right.
I think it's going to hurt that. And the other thing that I think is going to hurt is and this is part of what I do with my business. I do national high school recruiting. Some guys that I get, I deal with the 0 to 3 star players that don't get a lot of attention, or their coaches aren't helping them out. Well, a lot of these guys that I get, usually we get at the very end. I've had a couple guys that we had to go deep into the recruit, maybe a week before signing day, and then the school's giving them a chance.
Well,
this is going to hurt those type of kids.
I don't know, because I don't think everybody's loading up in. I don't think it's going to be tough if you're in a bowl game to load up a recruiting class during bowl season. Like, and
they bring. Here's where I'm going to stick them. Here at Purdue, we might be 0-3, but we went to 4 straight. We went to bowl games all the time. So I can tell you what's going on during bowl practice. Those bowl practice are extended recruiting. They aren't official visits, but they're up there that week recruiting, because a lot of the kids aren't. Their season's over, and we got all this time to do stuff up there. So that's not going to hurt them bringing kids up to bowl games. I mean, their bowl games. They're going to do recruiting, and they can still load up and try to do something.
I hear. So 248-721-8570. You're on the Rocket Turk Sports Show. We're talking about the early signing period that's coming out in football. I think it's going to be interesting as we get close to the fall and you guys stay with us in the show. You'll see us to get a big emphasis on high school sports here. We'll have on some local talent recruits, have them do interviews here, talk about their experience, talk about what they're doing as far as recruiting. Everything's above board, nothing about parties, nothing about stuff, you know, that you see on 30 for 30. We're not talking about all of that. We're talking about the good stuff here. So, and we'll do that in multiple sports. So it's very interesting. Anything that's changed in the NCAA, we definitely want to talk about it here, because it's going to have an impact in the sport. As Nick Saban, he's one of we talked about him. If the highest paid guy in college says this, then we got to listen, right? Can't just be an ulterior motive right here. He's got to have some truth to this. Got to think this is going to happen in some instance. The first time a kid says, I'm not playing for this crappy team no more, I'm going to LSU. Are we going to talk about it? Are we going to bash them? Or are we going to say, hey, NCAA, I told you so?
I'm going to go back to what I said. Do you, bro?
Rocket or Turk?
One last thing. This is one thing. Now, I think this is one thing that will have a problem. If you're going to a bowl game, or you're still, maybe let's say you're a 6-6 team that's going to a bowl game, those guys get fired sometimes if they lose that game or do whatever. So my only concern is now, if you have an early signing period in December, or even the season still goes into the first week of December now, the college season, what happens if a kid signs early and in January they decide to axe the coach? That's the only thing that I see, because
that happens in
yeah, but doesn't happen in football. If they're getting fired, they're going to fire them before February. You can't. So that's a problem. That's the only problem that I really foresee.
And you've signed him, and now there's a new coach. Maybe the kid doesn't want to play there anymore.
Right, but if he leaves, he's out for a year unless he goes down.
Right.
So those are the things that, just like anything else, it's like Obamacare, right? You got to get it out there first, and then you add on and change it and make it better. You just don't scrap the whole thing. So it's good, it's out there, now just tweak it and make it fair and do the right thing.
This is exactly like Obamacare. That's the first thing I thought of.
All right, so what we got next?
Yeah, we have the de-evolution of high school football in Michigan. Rocco.
So a lot of, I had to actually look that up, because I kept asking people, what's the opposite of evolution? Because in my mind, the first thing I thought was that, but I said, no, that doesn't sound right.
De-evolution.
But basically, the gist of the definition is when a species actually reverts back instead of evolving to be better. And
interesting.
This is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I know probably for Turk too, because we've talked about the how coaching is going in high school. Now, Michigan, and we hate to sound like those old dudes, like, oh, back in my day, boy, but
back in the day,
when we played,
3 miles, we walked in what, 2 feet of snow, 3 miles.
Both ways.
bread costs $0.25. Hold on, gas was $1 though. Gas was definitely $1.
Yeah. But you didn't need it because you were walking.
You're right. But for the lawnmower, gas was $1.
So when you look at, and I'll just use Brother Rice as an example, we had a tough schedule. When we loaded up, I mean, you look at our schedule, and you know, in college and high school, oh, this is a win, that's a win. We didn't do that much because, you know, obviously you say we want to win this game, but it was, hey, we're fighting every week. You look at these schedules now, and it's the same teams, but it's been a lack. And what happened was probably around 2008, when the crisis hit, a lot of people left Michigan, and a lot of that talent left. Some school, and then obviously schools are consolidating and things. So the powers that were, some schools like DePores was a great school, and we had a lot of battles with them. We did not. They're not around anymore. And then obviously you have your Catholic League teams and some of your perennial powers that are still there. But a lot of the state is Turk-like state. It's very top heavy.
Yeah.
And the reason, so in my 8 years here in Michigan, what I've seen is that football is going down. The level of play, the level of play, what we're doing, how the game is being taught, it is going down. Now, part of that is one, there's a lot of old archaic rules in the state. For example, there's a rule in Michigan that we can't wear pads until when camp starts, like this year starts on the 7th. They can't wear full gear until the 10th,
Right.
or even shells, whatever, or the 10th. Well, these camps now that are in college, because they're trying to weed out bust, right? Everyone looks good in their underwear, as we say, with a helmet and a jersey. Well, now what they're doing is they're putting these guys in shells, which is your helmets and your shoulder pads, and they're practicing. They're getting ready. They're running 9-on-7. They're doing one-on-ones. They're doing some button-up tackling drills. Anybody in Michigan can't go to those camps because if you're found out that you went to those camps, I think that's what happened a couple years with Ojemudia and Funchess and Burbridge.
Yep.
They went to a camp, I think Notre Dame's camp, and someone found out, and that's when they were in the playoffs. They were ineligible for
the first game.
Yeah.
It wasn't, was it regular? I think it was starting.
No, it was in the playoffs. It was against Brother Rice. That's what happened. So some guys had to sit out the game, some guys had to sit out the quarter or whatever. And that's unfair because now you're getting into a kid's recruiting opportunities, and it's also, now you're not gonna hear Michigan and Michigan State complain because we get to keep the talent in the state, but that's not fair because guys can go to other, and at these camps, there's a lot of D1 AA, D2 schools, so that's one on that arcade. The second thing is, and the biggest problem is, and I hate to say this, because it doesn't matter someone's age, you can be old, but as long as you're up on, like my father is older, right? But he's got his own consulting company, he deals with a very range of media companies, so he has to be up on everything, technology, and that. So he's up to date with, and he also works in the music industry, so he listens to the same music I listen to. He's up to date on everything. A lot of these coaches have said,
He likes Madonna?
there you go. So a lot of these coaches are older, and I'm not gonna throw names out there, I'm about to throw schools out there. Ultra Lake St. Mary's. They're an old school program where the coach is actually, he's the AD, the head football coach, and the basketball coach. Well, what's happening is if you look at their system, they run an old 1960s, 70s system on offense. Well, they're losing a lot of players. KJ Hamlin transferred to IMG in Florida. They just lost another receiver this year. Now, defensively, they're putting out guys all day because their defense is up to code. But they're not. And there's a lot of schools. CC, great as they might have been, everyone knows what they're doing. Now, if you've seen, they went to the last couple state championships, they've gotten their asses kicked because their scheme is outdated. And a lot of these coaches don't want to change. Harrison, they're still running a 50 front on defense versus most sets. You're going to get beaten. You're looking at the level of their sliding. Harrison used to be in the playoffs every year. They're winning 4 or 5 games now. I know the school's shutting down, but they still got talent over there.
Even a kid going, I think going to Notre Dame, a linebacker this year. So they still got talent.
Yeah, they got talent, but I'm talking about team talent.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
winning.
I agree.
And these old coaches are unwilling to move forward with today's game, or I'm going to speak my mind, just like Turk and I dealt with at Brother Rice. Coach Fracassa won 3 titles his last 3 years.
Right.
Left the program in a great, we had a lot of talent left over.
Yeah.
The new head coach comes in, he hires a great offensive coordinator, hires a person to run the defense that he wasn't old, but he wanted to be something special instead of just putting in the defense and let's let the kids win the games. He wanted to be special. The defense was atrocious. Had a great offense, didn't see it. Cost Malzone and Grant Perry, what I feel they want to win a 4th state title.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
The next year, Rice goes 2-7. The worst in school history, finished last in every statistical category offensively. Defensive was awful. They bring us in. We put all of our coaches that we had were all college-based, new age. We know everything that's going on. We're using technology. We flipped that defense to one of the top in the state. They moved this guy over to offense. We have a terrible offensive season, and I'm not saying we would have won a state title, but we had a clear, as Turk like said, we had a clear shot to play. So you have those two things. You have old coaches that don't change their systems, or you're getting these new coaches in there that it's all about them.
Yeah.
And those type of combinations, plus now the last part, and I'll let you get into it, I just had to get this rant going, on the school systems. Now, I've been going, out for a couple jobs, and because, new staff came in, I was released, and I'm fine with that, that's how the game goes, but I've been going out talking to some of these schools, and the first thing they asked me, and I won't tell the school I just interviewed with, but went there, talked to them, they're like, yeah, we wanted someone to have experience in the district. Oh, great, I coached here a couple of years in this district. No, we're looking for someone who can teach at the high school. Okay, well, or the next person's the coach in the district. Well, then we're sitting there going, well, you're not looking for a football coach, you're kind of looking for a gym teacher or someone that kind of occupied.
Coaches football.
And so that's where this is going, and that's an old system, because when Coach Ricasa came in there, he coached football, basketball, baseball, but that was at that time.
Yeah, that's not, it's specialized, I agree, and like Ohio, you talk Ohio, and you keep going south, it's like football coach. We paying a football coach to come here and win games. They have stadiums in Ohio.
Yeah.
We
That's
are,
in Ohio. Go check out a high school game. 50,000 for a high school game every Friday night.
yeah, we out here. We're definitely behind the 8 ball. I mean, you watch it. We got, in the South, they're in pads right now practicing. I don't even.
They got spring ball.
I don't even understand the rules about not being able to play in pads. And I imagine that if we went sport to sport in NCAA, it's got to be a lot of archaic rules. It can't just be football. MHSAA. It's got to be archaic every sport, because some of these rules make absolutely no sense.
Right.
They don't. The pad one is a big deal. How many practices you got to do before you in camp alone, let alone before contact, is a big deal. And I agree, like the archaic way in Michigan in general, we've lost kids to other states because we're not forward thinkers. We're behind the 8 ball.
You're right, but not only that, so here's the flip side of that conversation. What you have is now, not only you lose some other states, but you lose some other schools. So you're looking at West Bloomfield, Cass Tech, Wall Lake Western, King, Clarkston, Dakota, UD. People are leaving other schools to go there because why? Those coaches there know what they're doing. They're younger, they've played in college, they're putting a system in place where, number one, we can win and be successful, and two, we're gonna help you get recruited by what we run. Because here's the thing, if you're running bone, and a college coach that played at Ohio State or Michigan comes in there, we don't know what this guy, offensive lineman, I don't know if he can pass protect.
I don't know if the quarterback can drop back, and I don't know. And I think a quarterback ran bone that won the draft too. Last year he was like a top 3 pick. The kid from North Dakota. I think he ran bone in high school. Something ridiculous. That's why he ended up there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. I mean, but I'll say this though. I think just like the Big Ten, just like it took a long time for the Big Ten to get spread offense and run the 4-2-5 and all that stuff. It's gonna take a long time for that. But I mean, this topic is gonna continue. I think we're not done here with this one. We're gonna continue next week. We got a lot more to talk about with high school football. Hopefully you can tune in next week with us. Rocco, what you got?
Well, before we get out of here, just wanted to let you guys know again that today's show is sponsored and brought to you by Blaze Contracting.
Turk Sports Show is brought to you in part by Blaze Contracting
And now that that's done, they're gonna talk over the outro.
Okay.
We about to go in.
So if they're doing that in the future, we gotta start that like 53,
I was gonna say, what if
And then when you start the outro, that
Yeah,
is
it's yours.
what you.
Oh, okay.
We'll be looking at the NBA championships.
You guys wanna start the outro immediately when the commercial is over, or
Just
give it a
start the
second?
music up.
And then start the music up.
Start the music up, and then you.
Right when the commercial's over?
Yeah.
Start the music up, then I talk. Yeah.
Hey, sports fans, if you're out there listening, you are involved
So what am I doing?
in the development construction process.
When that's over,
Unmute,
What's going on?
and then what?
and then start that, that's that, and then switch it.
I don't know where's that.
Unmute, start, he talks, and then here's play DJ.
Yeah, you don't even have to wait for him to talk. You can start it.
Who's ever on?
10 seconds, guys.
Blaze can light the fire for you that paves your road to success. Give them a call today. Call 313-361-1000 or visit their website at
Hey, thanks for tuning in. That wraps up another Rock and Turk Sports Show. That's week 5. Next week, we're going to continue our talk, probably looking at the NBA championship. Most likely Golden State versus Cleveland. LeBron versus KD, Steph Curry, Clay, Kyrie, Kevin Love, star power everywhere. We're going to get back into some of this talk. We had to get cut short, but we're going to talk about high school, specifically Michigan sports, and we're going to parlay that as the year goes on into the fall and really dive deep into high school, so stay tuned on that. One other thing, we got Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Looks like that fight's going to be on, and we're going to talk about the big production it's going to be. Who you got winning so far? Is it going to be all this hyped up to be? Because it's been a lot of hype, years of hype. We'll see what happens. After that, who knows? LaVar Ball might drop another bill. Marco, what you got?
I just want to thank everybody for listening again. Remember, visit us on our website at the Rock and Turk Sports Show.
With a Z.
No,
that's Twitter. Sorry.
RockandSportsShow.com. Also on Facebook, Rock and Turk Sports Show, and then on Twitter, Rock and Turk Sports with the Z.
With the Z.
And you can also hit us up on Gmail, rockandturksports@gmail.com. We definitely want to hear. We get a lot of emails during the week, and we try to answer some stuff out and get it to you, and even bring it up on the show if it's relevant. But keep spreading the word. Thank you all that watched us on Facebook Live tonight. Tell us what you think. Should we keep streaming live, and we'll go from there. So that's me. I'm out. Dom, anything?
That's it, man. We'll see you guys next week.
Later. Chill.
Yeah, we got a show right now. So you can't put the